I'm on a quest to return to Final Fantasy 1 through 6, and I've got to decide which is the very best 2D Final Fantasy. Crystals, the job system, Chocobos, lunatic clowns. 6 games that helped lay the foundations for modern day Final Fantasy. Let's explore them, and for the most part I'll be showing the Pixel Remasters. It all began with Final Fantasy 1. Very first thing you do is create a custom party of 4 characters from a selection of jobs. Warrior, Monk, Thief, Black, White and Red mages. While you can't change your jobs once you've selected them, later on you can upgrade your jobs through some side content. This is the origins of the Final Fantasy job system that would help shape future games. We've got to rescue a princess from the evil Knight Garland. There's a huge open world. And we'll have to restore 4 big crystals that have lost their light. Those 4 big crystals become the storytelling DNA for the early series. It's a reoccurring story point in a lot of 2D Final Fantasies. So early days, simple customization and story, and there is a bit of a twist with time travel involved, but overall I do really like Final Fantasy 1. Before we look at number 2, I think there's a really interesting pattern in the early parts of the Final Fantasy series. The odd-numbered games focus on the job system, while the even-numbered Final Fantasies generally lean into the storytelling and characters. This odd-even rhythm of alternating between gameplay customization and storytelling, it keeps the series feeling fresh and makes every new 2D Final Fantasy feel unique. So, moving on to the next one, Final Fantasy 2, we follow a different group of 4 characters, and we join a big rebellion against an evil emperor. Strong story, one of your party members, Leon, even defects to the Empire and fights against the party. I like that you also get lots of guest party members who temporarily join the adventure. But got to admit, there's a lot of back and forth between locations. I'd say Final Fantasy 2 beats the original one in terms of storytelling, but in terms of gameplay, 2 does a lot of experimental stuff. You don't earn experience points or level up. Instead, weapon skills have a chance to increase after combat. But to be honest, I don't like it. I much prefer the traditional leveling up. There's also the keyword system. You can learn keywords from conversations. You can then ask characters about those keywords to progress the story. From a design stance, I can see how they try to level up the storytelling in 2, but it was a bit of a hassle making sure you had the right keywords for the right places. The keyword system didn't return in future mainline games, and it's because of these experimental systems that I actually prefer Final Fantasy 1 to number 2. So far, number 1 is still my personal favourite, but I do appreciate that number 2 tried something new. Final Fantasy 3, this is where I feel the series really leveled up in terms of side content. Being an odd-numbered game, we're back to the job system, but this time, you can freely swap your party's jobs and even unlock new ones as you progress. Dark Knights, Dragoons, Summoner. We're getting to the good stuff. We can acquire the power to summon in literal gods. 3 makes for a fun RPG. It's great experimenting with different job setups, loads of really awesome side content, lots of useful bits of equipment to find, and even 2 bonus jobs to unlock, Sage and Ninja. Got to admit, 3 makes for a pretty good story. It feels like a proper adventure. We accidentally find ourselves in the nest of the Dragon King Bahamut, shrink ourselves down to enter a village of gnomes, and even crash land in the middle of a war. It's a bit more of a light-hearted adventure, but for me, the most iconic part in 3 is the Crystal Tower. Starting at the Labyrinth of the Ancients, we climb the tower to the World of Darkness, but it's filled at the brim with challenges and treasures to find. Final Fantasy 3 snatches the crown. It really does level up the Final Fantasy series in terms of gameplay and side content. Before we have a look at number 4, if you're a huge fan of RPGs, consider subbing to Bytes or liking the video. I'm a bit of an indie game developer, cover lots of RPGs. You might like my Final Fantasy series where I'm replaying them all and ranking them as I go. Thank you. Okay, 4. So even numbered, that means a huge focus on storytelling and character writing. Not to mention 4 to 6 benefit from a huge technical leap to the next generation, the Super Nintendo. You play Cecil, a dark knight who commits evil actions under his king. Overwhelmed with guilt, Cecil goes on this crazy adventure all the way to the moon. Gotta admit, a pretty incredible cast of characters. A sage overcome with revenge, a self-loathing dragoon, and an insecure summoner. 4 is all about identity, growth, redemption, and forgiveness. The character writing is excellent. These are 2D pixel characters, but they do a brilliant job at expressing feelings and emotions. I especially love Cecil's journey. He develops as a person and transforms from a dark knight to a holy paladin. But yeah, it doesn't have as in-depth customization and abandons the fancy job system from 3, but more than makes up for it in terms of storytelling and characters. It's brilliant and in my opinion absolutely deserves to hold the crown. Now, 5 takes a very different approach. We're back to the job system, this time even more jobs to earn and unlock, and the ability to mix and match jobs together. Once you've leveled up a job, you'll unlock new abilities, and you can equip these abilities to a completely different job. A core part of 5 is just experimenting with these different jobs, leveling them up, and then mix matching jobs together to come up with cool combinations. You're free to experiment with all possible combinations, and not just that, there's entirely new jobs that have completely unique playstyles like Mime, that can mimic the actions of others, and Blue Mage can learn certain enemy skills. You can spend ages exploring the world and filling out your Blue Mage spellbook. And for Summoner, there's optional trial fights to earn new summons. 5 is simply the king of gameplay. 5 does have a story and it's good, there's big twists with the main characters, there's plenty of iconic moments including Gilgamesh and the battle on the big bridge. Best bit is that Gilgamesh ends up wandering the void and keeps turning up in future Final Fantasy games. 5 has such an incredible tie into the Final Fantasy legacy. So I'm kind of stuck. I think 4 deserves the crown for its incredible storytelling characters, while 5 deserves the crown for its incredible gameplay, side content and its job system. So it's kind of even at the minute. We've come a long way across the 2D Final Fantasy series, but it's time to talk about the big one, Final Fantasy VI. Even numbered, no job system, this one focuses on storytelling and characters. It's also the final 2D Final Fantasy and it goes out with a bang. Unlike most earlier entries, which revolve around saving 4 big crystals, 6 breaks out of that storytelling mold. Here we're battling a powerful advanced empire. 6 has an incredibly strong cast and a lot of characters do get their time in the spotlight. You could argue that there are multiple main characters, but the official main character is Terra. We join the rebellion against the Empire, forming this absolutely incredible team of heroes. For the most part, they're all really compelling and interesting characters, and you do want to know more about them. Why is Locke so protective of others? If Edgar and Sabine are twin brothers, why is Edgar king? Who the hell is this absolute badass ninja? Why has Terra lost her memories? And after witnessing the Empire murder Cyan's family, you need to see him get revenge. 6 completely hooks you in with its characters and even its villain, the lunatic Kefka. He manipulates and pulls the strings, setting himself up for complete victory and godlike power. Ultimately, Kefka destroys the world. One of the most iconic villains in Final Fantasy and gaming. 6 is the story of balance and ruin, overcoming defeat and despair, and finding hope. You have to start from scratch in a destroyed world, and it's one of the darkest moments in all of Final Fantasy. As you go into the final battle with a god, everyone shares their story and reason for coming, their motivation and hope. Plenty of awesome side content, including getting eaten by a giant sandworm to find a secret dungeon, an optional party member. Lots of optional summons to find, and characters can eventually equip summons or magicite to learn new spells. So it's kind of up to you how you build your characters, and it makes for a solid form of RPG customization. Gotta hand it to 6. 6 is my absolute favourite 2D Final Fantasy. So FF1 was the bold introduction to Final Fantasy, the job system in its basic form, and the crystal themed adventure. FF2 experimented with the keyword and weapon skill system, which didn't quite work out, but pretty good story. FF3 leveled up the job system, letting us unlock new jobs and swap jobs on the fly, fun side content, and love the Crystal Tower. FF4 marked a new era, great storytelling, emotional character writing. FF5 perfected the job system and customization, which went hand in hand with good side content. FF6 was absolutely incredible, massive cast, incredible story, amazing characters, unforgettable moments, and the best villain, Kefka. Kefka actually succeeds, he's terrifying. What do you think? What's your favourite? I could understand if you love 5 for the amazing job system, or if you love 4 the most. I think it's a really good story as well, but for me, I'm going with 6. Just talking about it makes me want to do another run through it. Alright, I'm working on my replay through Final Fantasy XIV for my replay series. It's a very time-consuming video to make, so there's a chance it won't be ready in time. So in the meanwhile, why not have a look at my return to Final Fantasy XIII? It's not my favourite, but I wanted to give it another chance. Or there's Final Fantasy XII, which I found a new appreciation for recently. It's all on screen at the minute. Alright, have a good one.